Time for the KBOI Medical Moment, brought to you by Regence, featuring Dr. Mark Hiatt of Regence Blue Shield of Idaho. Dr. Mark Hiatt, good morning.
Good morning, Chris and Paul J.
Morning, Doc. Anxiety is a common concern in this country. How many Americans suffer from anxiety?
Too many, Paul J. It's estimated that about 1 out of 5 Americans suffers from some type of anxiety disorder in which really they worry excessively and they can't really stop their anxiety.
What is the latest research into anxiety?
Well, Chris, scientists have found that mice may exhibit these specialized brains for their anxiety. Using mice, scientists then are trying to determine how anxiety may be triggered and how it may be suppressed.
How do you know if your mouse is anxious?
Well, Paul J., that was the problem these scientists had. Of course, they had to study anxious mice. And so they tried to subject these mice to things that they feared the most. And so they thought of cats and brooms, but they decided upon open places. You see, mice tend to be afraid of open places. So the researchers put these mice in a maze in which some of the pathways led to open areas. Then the scientists monitored their brain activity, finding that these anxious mice do have some cells in their brain dedicated to making them worry. And so the hope is that if we can control these cells in humans, we may be able to control anxiety.
Doctor, a lot of people are coming down with the flu. It's that time of year. But could some of them possibly be suffering from something other than the flu?
Yes, Chris. Another family of viruses known as adenoviruses that mimics the common seasonal sickness of flu. So the symptoms may be the same, such as runny nose, cough, sore throat, fever, and headache, but really they're two separate, different sicknesses.
What are the differences? How can you tell?
Well, this different type of virus, these adenoviruses, unlike the flu, are not seasonal, which that you can suffer from this type of sickness throughout the year. And while most of the time the symptoms are similar, there could be certain complications, such as adenoviruses may cause things such as pink eye, diarrhea, bronchitis, pneumonia, and even rarely meningitis.
How are these kinds of viruses spread?
Well, really the same way as a flu virus, by coughing, sneezing, contact with an infected person, or touching infected objects or surfaces, so avoid those door handles and light switches. This could be any place where these viruses can survive, and they can survive, by the way, for a long period of time.
How do you avoid getting sick from these viruses?
Really, Paul J., just avoid sick people.
Yeah.
Who are coughing and sneezing, who may have pink eye, and then be sure to wash your hands frequently and avoid touching your face.
Doctor, we've all heard of pacemakers that help the heart keep a good rhythm. What about, is there such a thing as a pacemaker for the brain?
There is. Just as a pacemaker can stimulate the heart's conduction system, an implant with electrical wires put into the brain has had some success in stimulating patients with Parkinson's disease. And that type of pacemaker for the brain is also now being evaluated for treatment of people with Alzheimer's disease.
Does it help? How does it help people with Alzheimer's?
Paul J., a recent study showed that this implant for the brain, which stimulates the frontal region of the brain, may actually help Alzheimer's patients perform better. They can think better. They can have better behavior. They may be able to function better. But most importantly, their quality of life seems to be improved in this recent study.
Well, what does the stimulation in practical terms mean for daily living?
Well, it really helps people with Alzheimer's with a wide variety of daily activities, such as in making good decisions, making their bed, choosing what to eat, and most importantly, I think, really having meaningful interactions with friends and family.
Dr. Mark Hiatt, thank you for your time this morning on KBOI.
Thank you.
It's the KBOI Medical Moment, brought to you by Regence, featuring Dr. Mark Hiatt of Regence Blue Shield of Idaho.